Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So today I've been playing a bunch, and I mean a bunch, of the Battlefield 5 beta, and it's been pretty darn good. I have to say, I'm pretty impressed by this game, and I was not expecting to be, well, impressed, I guess you could say, because there's just been so much controversy around this game, and there's been so much negativity around it, and I'm not a big fan of EA or Electronic Arts and DICE just after some of the recent stuff that they've been doing. I remember I got really mad when they shut down the Battlefield Revive project, and I understand why they did that. I think the people were giving away the game for free and they weren't liking that, but at the same time I felt like it was just, you know, giving the shaft to a community that had been there for a couple of years and they hadn't done anything about it up until that point. So it just, you know, they rubbed me the wrong way, and just EA in general have not been very pro-consumer. So basically I went into this game with a bad attitude, and I was very pleasantly surprised when I saw just how great the squad dynamics work in this game. Everything seems to have a purpose now, which is really nice. I know people might have said that about every other Battlefield game at every other, you know, release, but for real this time, it really feels like every squad member has a role this time. You definitely need ammo in this game, like your frontline assault trooper guys, like the guys with the STG-44s and stuff. They really need ammo. They only really spawn in with like 2 magazines, and they're pretty much your most powerful frontline fighter. Then you have your medics who can heal people, and I believe also give them ammo supplies. I'm kind of confused if that's a UI bug or not, but you can definitely give them health packs. And these health packs have to actually be used manually, so you're not just putting healing things on the ground that squad heal in an AoE. You actually have to hand people a thing that they have to use themselves as like a medical supply pack. The supports in this game, I don't know how I feel about them yet, because the weapon that they start with is just really bad. I mean, at least in my opinion. You're better off running, you know, the STG-44 on the assault class. I mean, I guess you really do need them because of their ammunition, and also they're pretty much one of the strongest anti-tank classes at the moment. Also, they're pretty much one of the strongest anti-tank classes in the game at the moment, just because they can put those anti-tank and anti-vehicle mines down. So if they know where to place them, they can be very, very powerful, especially on the Grand Operations mode. And then you have the Recon class, which is honestly my favorite thing to play as in this beta so far, for a couple of reasons. First of all being, now you can actually crouch and sprint while crouching, so you're a little bit slower, but you get to keep a lower profile. And so if you're trying to play like a sneaky sniper class, it's really ideal for that now. You can actually be stealthy and fast, get behind enemy lines, and do that kind of thing. It's also great because the new spotting mechanic means that not everybody can just spot people randomly anymore. You actually have to rely on the Recon class and their telescope to actually spot enemy units. This means you won't be getting shot from nowhere as often, but you'll still be getting spotted a lot if you're out in the open, so you really have to be careful in this game. If you're making an open advance through an open field or something, or through a street, you're definitely going to get spotted by some recons, and you're going to have a bad time. But yeah, I have to say, sneaking around as the Recon class is definitely my bread and butter in Battlefield 5 so far. It's definitely really fun on the Rotterdam map, where there's many buildings with multiple stories and many bridges that go over the streets. It gives you a lot of flanking opportunities and opportunities to get some really great sniping spots in, and it's just a lot of fun. And the long streets definitely do make for some great sniping, so yeah. So would I advise you to spend the $5 it takes to get into this beta earlier than everyone else by 2 days? I mean, you're only getting the 10 hours anyway, so I don't really think you should. I think you really should just save your money. The reason I really did this was just to make a video on it to tell you guys whether or not it's worth it, and also just because I'm a Battlefield nut, and even though I wasn't really looking forward to this one, and I still might not buy it on release, I really am glad to have gotten a chance to, you know, play it a little bit earlier and try it out, and kind of get some more time to make my mind up on it, I guess. As you guys may or may not know, Battlefield 5 has been delayed so that they have more time to work on this game, and this game definitely needs some work. There's a lot of really weird, bizarre bugs and glitches, as well as I feel like there are some things that are not very well conveyed to the player. For example, you have the icon over people to help them up or revive them when they're down, and if you're a medic you can do that with the syringe, but if you're any other class you can still see that and you can't actually help them up. So I have a lot of people who are staring at bodies going, why can't I pick this guy up? What's going on here? And it's just because either it's a bug or they took it out of the game. I'm really not sure what the hell's going on, but you probably shouldn't be able to see people as a revive icon if you can't actually revive them. It just feels a little bit broken at the moment. There were also times where I was getting shot through certain things that I didn't think would be able to be shot through. There were multiple occasions of my, of the body ragdolling out after being killed, but still being in a revived state, somewhere that's unreachable by the medics. And just a bunch of other really strange bugs, and some of them were a little bit game-breaking, but nothing bad enough to make me have any sort of negative feelings towards the game on that kind of level. Like I said, they're going to be fixing a lot of this stuff, so hopefully it does get improved by the full release. There's also the building mechanic, which at first I thought was a bit gimmicky, but actually having played this game, it's very, very useful on a few situations. For example, like on Rotterdam, there's points where you're covering the B site and you can build some sandbags right next to an MG turret, and if you use that MG turret and don't get sniped off of it multiple times like I did, it can actually be very useful for suppressing enemies on that bridge and helping you advance back across the bridge. Also, while playing the Grand Operations mode as the Germans on the first A site of the artillery piece, you can actually defend it fairly well if you build an entrenchment around the entire site. So really, putting up sandbags everywhere is super more useful than you'd think it would be. For example, there's a lot of those destroyed buildings and whatnot around your sites where you're defending, and if you can rebuild some of those walls, it really does buy your team some cover, some time to regroup and reform. So really, the more cover you can put between yourself and the enemies, the better off you will be. And this game really does feel like the truest of returns to the classic Battlefield that we've gotten so far. It's definitely not like the old games, but it's definitely the closest thing that we've gotten in terms of how the classes synergize and are very important to each other, and just how the game feels in general. And believe me, as like someone who likes Battlefield, or at least used to like Battlefield, I really don't think you'll be thinking about any of the controversial stuff while playing the game. Like, if it's running well for you, which by the way I should mention, it ran amazingly for me. I was playing on medium to high settings. It ran great on my GTX 970 and Ryzen 7 1700X CPU with, I think it was 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM. So if you have anything near that specs, you're gonna have a good time. The game runs great. I think I have the SMAA turned up, or the TAA. Setting. So the anti-aliasing is a little bit weird. It's not as sharp as I'd like it to be, but I think you can mess with that kind of stuff in the settings some more. So if you don't mind the fast-paced action of Battlefield, it's really going to be a great time, and don't expect any sort of like super realism here. I don't think Battlefield ever really did get close to that. I mean, at times maybe Battlefield 3 did at points, but really Battlefield has always been trying to contend with, Call of Duty and stuff. So if you want a really fast-paced but like somewhat realistic shooter, I guess Battlefield is kind of like up your alley. But if you're looking for something more realistic and true to World War II, we've got Postscriptum out, and we have Day of Infamy, which has been out for a while, which is really fun. So check those games out if you're not really interested in what you're seeing here. I think if I see Battlefield 5 on sale, I'll definitely try to pick it up, especially if it's got a good single player and that co-op mode ends up not being, like, stupid. If they actually put some emphasis into that co-op mode and give it some rewards and something special to do in it besides just play it 1 or 2 times, I might actually stick around and play this game. That just, like I said, it all depends on what's in the full package at release. One of my major only last gripes here would be, I guess it can get a little bit repetitive. We've only got 2 maps to play on and 2 game modes, Conquest and Grand Operations, and while they're very, very fun to play, I've put maybe 3 hours into this demo so far, and I'm already kind of feeling a little bit burned out on the game. And yes, you can technically unlock stuff for your weapons and rank those up and customize them and whatnot, which is kind of a fun incentive to keep playing. They're really just, I mean, if you love the Battlefield formula, you're going to love playing this, but if you've been playing Battlefield for so many years, you've already played this game before, right? Like, it does have a few new features that definitely do make it really great and awesome compared to other Battlefield titles as of late, but at the same time, it's still Battlefield, it's still Conquest mode, it's still Operations mode. You've played this all before, so if this is your bread and butter, if this is your jam, if this is all you do all day, then, is play Battlefield and you love it, then you're going to love Battlefield 5. I mean, I really do think so. I think it's a lot better than Battlefield 1, but if you get kind of burned out on Battlefield quickly, like after a few matches, you're like, yep, I'm done, then maybe don't pick this up at release, maybe wait for a sale or something, or wait for some more DLCs to come out for for it, which I think are going to be free map packs, hopefully, so it'll keep the community together. I really do think with more maps and maybe some extra stuff when the full game comes out, like more incentives to play, more guns that are going to be added to the game and whatnot, I really do think this will be a pretty damn good game and a lot better than we were probably thinking it was going to be. So let me know what you guys think about this game in the comments down below. If you'd like to see more Battlefield on the channel, also let me know. Like I said, I'm probably not going to get this at release, but I'll definitely try to pick it up later. And if you guys happen to like tactical shooters like Ready or Not and Insurgency Sandstorm or Ground Branch, feel free to subscribe to the channel. Alright everyone, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the battlefield. Stay frosty out there.